the overall impact can be a devastating loss of self-esteem. Films, and more recently television, have served to reinforce the notion that West is best by purveying images of glamour, luxury and endless leisure, with machines to take the place of human labor. Moreover, they generally present polarized images of sexual roles. The women tend to be passive and concerned mainly with appearances, while the men are aggressive and macho and glorify violence. These stereotyped images find expression in the new toy shops. Among the most popular items, blonde Barbie dolls and gun-toting Rambos. Young people, and young men in particular, are most strongly affected by these new influences and tend to be dismissive of their own culture.
It's the teenage boys that are the weak link in the culture, and I think this is true around the world. And you can see that the culture that's coming in is actually a teenage boy culture. It has fast things, racing through the countryside on a motorcycle or having guns that go bang. This appeals to teenage boys, but to nobody else.
As a direct result of development, the Ladakis are losing their old sense of self-confidence, of self-worth. In an attempt to live up to the modern Western image, they are alienating themselves from family and community and becoming increasingly insecure. In the long term, one of the most serious threats to the culture and local economy comes from education. Generally, schools are considered to be among the unqualified benefits of development. But what's happening in Ladakh calls into question what we really mean by education. In the traditional culture, children learn from experience. They learn how to grow food, how to build houses, how to make clothes. And they learn about the values which have supported the Ladakhi way of life over the centuries. By contrast, modern education trains children at best for specialized jobs in urban centers. But these jobs are scarce. Increasingly, education is training people to be unemployed. In Ladakhi schools today, children learn nothing about their own culture or about local resources. Instead, they follow a curriculum based on the Western industrial model. Even the language is foreign.
I appreciate the poetry of Wordsworth.
If a child here is taught, he or she is taught in Urdu, a language totally alien to Ladakhis. Their parents wouldn't speak a word of in the villages. More unbelievable is that after these 8 years, you have to go to English abruptly as a medium of instruction.
Srinagar, what do you say? When wealth is lost, nothing is lost. But when health is lost, nothing is lost. But character is lost, everything is lost. Yes, when health is lost, something is lost. When character is lost, everything is lost.
School books extol the virtue of Western-style development. This English reader contains an example of a letter which a child in India might write to a pen pal in Japan.
NITs are building a large number of dams so that our farmers can bring many millions of acres of land under cultivation.
The school books teach them, for example, how to make tea. And they can easily produce that back in their answer books. You see, first boil the water, then put the tea leaves and put the milk and things. But they can only write that on paper. They cannot make tea.
We have to think of building up many more industries so that we may be able to produce all the things we need in our country. These industries are changing our way of life.
And then after 2 years of this English, you have to face the main examination, that is the passport to jobs or further studies. And students fail here in their hundreds. About 90%, 95% fail every year.
We have very little land left in our village now. Many families are moving to cities and towns in order to find jobs in factories and industries. More and more people every year leave their village and flock to the industrial towns.
When they fail, they are really in trouble, you see. They cannot go back to the traditional life and start doing farming and other things because they are so confused, they don't know anything because they have been kept away. And they are rejected by the modern sectors. So they belong to none of these, you see. They are rejected by the modern, they are cut off from the traditional.
Your sensory Ashok.
The modern school system separates children by age and increasingly by ethnicity.
For example, we have got one school, Lamdon school, run by the Buddhists. There is one Islamia public school run by the Muslims. There is a mission school run by the Christians. So this is really taking the different communities' children in different groups, and they never get a chance to intermix, and they get a feeling that the other sect of people are something which cannot be made friendly.
One of the effect of modern education is so that it makes people very aggressive. And one of the strange things is that in the newspapers and in the media, people are always using the words fight. Yeah. We have to fight this and we have to fight that. The fighting is not a good thing. Why you fight? Why isn't there any other way to solve the problem?
With the children off at school, life on the farm becomes harder for the rest of the family, especially for women. When viewed from a broad perspective, the impact of development has been profoundly disturbing. Modernization is no doubt bringing some short-term material benefits. But in so doing, it is unraveling the rich fabric of relationships which held Ladakh together over the centuries. It is polluting the environment, breaking down community, and eroding personal identity.
In one way, in spite of all the material progress, all the inventions, and all the knowledges, if we really look to the human situation, and I think they are more miserable now.